remote in her house with sports versus reality TV. She compared ESPN to Bravo and me to the face of the network, Andy Cohen himself. Take a listen to this.
Hi, I'm Carcino. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. To go in and do a raid in someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them.
This is where I want to educate my brother and even my husband who will be listening. Culture is king.
Yeah, culture is king.
The truth is like they razz me about my love of reality TV and the Real Housewives. I watch it all.
You watch it all?
All of it. They think that sports is better reality TV. I was like, it's the same thing. There's drama in sports.
There's so much drama.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, if I listen to ESPN for an hour, it's like watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Absolutely.
You know? I mean, you know, it's the same drama and they're yelling at each other and they don't get along. You know, I mean, Stephen A. Smith, he's just like every other
he'd
talk
be a
show
great
host.
Real Housewife.
He would be.
Right.
It would be amazing.
So that's why I'm like, what's the difference? It's just, you know, it's just sociological drama. I mean, the fact that people over seasons of working together still can't get along.
Right.
They still have the same arguments, you know, and it's not just women, but this happens in sports too.
Right.
I find it fascinating.
You know, it's the former First Lady in the United States of America. Somebody that I personally revere and believe to be the greatest First Lady in American history. That's my personal opinion, and I stand by it. Smart, very attractive, highly intelligent, very accomplished, wonderful values and morals. As far as I'm concerned, she's the closest thing to perfection I've ever seen from a First Lady in the White House. That's just how I feel about it. No disrespect to the great Nancy Reagan and, you know, Jackie Kennedy and all these other folks in between. Barbara Bush, everybody else. It wasn't Michelle Obama, not to me. Okay? So, first thing I want to say is, thank you for watching. I really appreciate that you watched First Take. You tried to deny it, but you know, you wouldn't know I'm so loud if you wasn't watching. Cause you ain't making that judgment by just watching me once. You know you watch First Take. You know it. You know you know it. You know your husband watches it too. I appreciate the fact that I'm known in the Obama household. I'm touched by that. I actually am touched. Okay. So let me get that out the way first. Secondly though, to your brother, Craig Robinson, you know I got love for you, my brother. I haven't seen you in a while. All the best to you, my man. Can't wait to see you down the line. Number 3, I would like to see you, Madam First Lady, Mrs. Michelle Obama. I would like to see you have some people on your podcast with dissenting opinions, dare I say. That would be nice. So they could have an opportunity to clap back if you say something. It just would be nice, you know. I mean, I'm just saying. 4th, Andy Cohen, ain't no shame in being compared to him. That's the face of Bravo. He created all those reality shows. He's a highly, highly successful individual. You understand? Who's beloved by millions of people out there. So for me to be compared to him, there's no shame in that. Okay? That's number 4. Number 5, however, with all seriousness, Michelle Obama, I want to take this opportunity to remind you that while you are revered by me personally, and I truly, truly mean that with the greatest sincerity, I'm still a bit salty at you. When you were campaigning on behalf of the former Vice President Kamala Harris, who I'll get into in a minute, by the way, and you were giving a speech, I believe it was in Detroit, if I remember correctly, but I'm not sure. It was in the middle of the day. It was carried live. You said a vote for Trump was a vote against you and a vote against y'all as women. I want to state for the record, I took major offense to that. Black men don't just love our black women. We revere y'all. You've practically raised most of us. Think about the most hardcore individual you can find who is a black man from the streets of America. If there is one person who can walk up to him and slap him silly and get away with it, it's his mama or his grandma. It's who we are. And to say what you said back then, I think to this day is the only thing that I didn't like that you said. I didn't appreciate it. Because there's so many things that go into deciding where your vote is going to go. For some people, it's all about the economy. For others, it's all about national security. For some people, it is immigration. For some people, it's safety in the streets of America. Long before they think about pro-choice or pro-life. I'm talking about men. There's a reason why Trump got about 57% and Kamala Harris ended up with 42, even though Biden had won the young male vote 4 years earlier. Because life changes and other issues become more pertinent to people. Now, I voted for Kamala, even though I wouldn't vote for Trump. I wasn't excited about voting for Kamala either, particularly after I heard about some of the shenanigans that the Democratic Party was engaging in leading up to the election. But I'm talking specifically to you, Madam First Lady. You are not just beloved, you are revered. You are sensational in so many ways. I've been on the record on this show and many others stating, had you run for president, you would have beat Trump. I still believe that. If Trump somehow manages to circumvent the 22nd Amendment, which I don't put past him, and Steve Bannon and others, and he tries to seek a third term, I believe if your husband elected to come back, he would beat Trump. That's my personal belief. But you, who never was an elected official and never aspired to, could easily, I wouldn't say easily, but you could win an election. You didn't run. So this doesn't have anything to do with what you were talking about, how sports and reality TV mirror one another, even though we would beg to differ, because a lot of things on reality TV are made up situations and scenarios to provoke reactions and all of that stuff, whereas sports, that's live entertainment and you're actually competing against one another is big time. No, reality TV is not like that. You're so wrong about that assertion, but that's neither here nor there. I just saw this as an opportunity, since you brought my name up, for me to bring your name up.
Well, Stephen A. Smith did not even go and make an attempt to try to actually give an example and expand on the difference between reality television shows and First Take and what he actually does. No, he used this at the very end. His agenda was there. I use this as an opportunity to bring your name up because you brought my name up. That's it. You use this as an opportunity to promote yourself because Michelle Obama said your name. That's it. You went on a political diatribe about an election that's been over for over a year. Saying you disagree with something she said about 2 years ago. What does that have to do with any of this? Nothing. You're saying you would vote for her if she ran for office. She would win. So you disagreeing with her views contradicts just that. But let's talk about the point she actually made about being a sitcom or a drama show. That's what you made First Take. It is not a sports show. It is synthetic trash. Now, with all of these different people who feel very opinionated, have a lot to say, by the way. They never seem to address the elephant in the room. And that elephant in the room being all of these different characters that engage or acquiesce in this manner of elitism. They seem to have this broad opinion of themselves where they're so above everything, but they're so below the bar. First of all, your First Take show is trash. It's not my opinion. Whenever you tell somebody their show is bad and you're blunt, they always say, well, that's just your opinion. The views and the other people don't. No, it's not that at all. People are shoveled this. They just turn on ESPN out of commonality. You go to the airports, ESPN just is on. It's not people are searching for Stephen A. Smith at First Take. They're just watching ESPN. No one says, oh man, I wonder what Stephen A. Smith is going to say. I can see if the Cowboys were playing and they just lost a game or something. Somebody wants to see what Stephen A. Smith has to say. If there's something where he is the news himself, then yes, somebody wants to see what Stephen A. is going to say. But those days of tuning in to First Take to get insight to a situation is over. There's no real debates no more. They're just scripted garbage. So yes, it's very much like a Bravo reality show. Most of the things y'all do, scripting, showing what kind of purse someone has, what kind of shoes they wear. Like, none of that stuff has any business being on a sports show. So it's become a satire show. And it's a sad one at that. And you just have Stephen A. Smith just yelling, going through his script, and his schnick, where he just starts yelling and getting overly, phonily emotional about everything that's going on. And it's at this point now, it's just ridiculous because you see this guy pull this off and they give him $100 million for it. And it's like, wow, did he earn this or like what is the reward for tearing down black men? Right? And he's like, well, you tear down black men. I'm like, if I tear down black men, then where's the tear down? Me talking about LeBron James and all the things that he's actually done is not tearing him down. That's exposing the truth to you. If you don't care to see the truth, then that's on you. When Stephen A. Smith tears down a black man, it affects their contracts, their livelihood. They can't get paid anymore. There's no money coming in. All of these things that are done is done behind the scenes. All of these things that are said behind the scenes All of these things that are going on right now are truly on the scales of being one of the major factors that have been going on behind the scenes for years. Now, Stephen A. Smith has had people removed from ESPN saying, I don't want to work for him, with him. I don't want to work with this person. And to go on basically a tour of saying how he didn't want to work with a person. That would sabotage anyone else from hiring said person. You know, and saying that this is what they would want to do moving forward. And even in the light of the scope of how things have been presented, it's almost, you know, humiliating to see. How anybody could sit there and follow Stephen A. Smith as if he's a voice of reason, as that's one. A voice of compassion or somebody that you would take very seriously. This is someone who's very condescending and very much so a person I wouldn't trust as far as I could throw him. And as for me, I just don't see this person being a genuine human being. I really just think he's an opportunistic, just a hack. In other words, you know, he copies what everyone else does and tries to mimic it, and that's just pretty much what he does. He's trying to mimic how everybody else is doing. He's trying to mimic Shannon Sharpe and Shay Shay Media. Now it's Sharpshooter Media. Like, really? You try to do everything Shannon Sharpe has done. You used him to boost your show, First Take, to help you get that $100 million deal. Then you didn't fight to keep Shannon Sharpe when the networks tried to get rid of him. Even though Shannon did the actions himself, it's not the reason he ain't there. But you didn't put up too much of a fight when they got rid of him. Now, you was mad at Gilbert Arenas for pointing out the fact that everybody he's picked on First Take was getting arrested. He didn't like that at all, Gilbert Arenas. He didn't like it at all. Now, what you're seeing and what you're witnessing are two different elements. You're witnessing two different elements that are transpiring. You're looking at a man who's targeting this black woman, but he doesn't want to piss off the black community, knowing what kind of power she has, so he kisses her ass, but then wants to kiss up to Fox News and try to use this as a political jab and throw that in the direction of Michelle Obama, saying I disagreed with a statement and all of this way back in the election. It's so much of a reach, you know, to think like he saw Fantastic Four and said, "Oh, I could do that. Watch this reach." That's how bad of a reach it was. So I wasn't gonna, you know, even make a video about this, but I said, what the hell, you know? let me at least address it for the people that didn't even catch what was going on. First Take is a drama show. They create drama just like any show that's on Bravo. I know I dated a woman who lived by Bravo. And the reason we ain't together now is that's mainly the reason. She watched a show called Wives and Girlfriends called WAGs. It's like, what the hell is this? It was like, this is trash. And she thought I'd be interested because they had a WWE like diva reality show going on. And I was like, hey, well, that's Nia Jax. You know, and I'm watching this show with her, and this Wives and Girlfriends come on. I was like, you invited me over here to watch this? You know, I got videos to do. I'd rather be doing that. You know how much money I'm losing out on? I could be making money. Instead of sitting here watching this bullshit. And it'd be the longest 30, 40 minutes of your life. It felt like you was watching a goddamn Avenger movie. I'm like, this won't end. Please end. I need it to end. Stop the pain, please. But it never stops. So, anyway, that's that. It's your boy Carcino, I'm out, man. Shouts out to Kwame Brown, Bus Life, Too Raw for TV. Welcome to HDIITV Sports Talk with Jose Rodriguez. And I'm out of here, y'all. 78 Sports TV, I'll see you fighting a good fight. My Patreon is Carcino for Life. The Cash App is Carcino, and we out the dough.